If you've been grinding the ranked ladder, you know exactly what separates a hard-stuck player from a consistent lobby dominator. And I'll tell you right now, it's rarely just raw luck. It actually comes down to one core analytical metric. So, in today's explainer, we're diving straight into the strategic heart of Pokémon Auto Chess to master the exact game mechanic that's going to elevate your play: tempo.
We are going to systemize your decision-making across every single phase of a match. Starting with Section 1, what builds tempo? Before we start applying these tactics to the board, we really need to clearly define what tempo actually means in the context of this game. At its core, tempo is the critical balance between immediate board strength and long-term financial investment. Think of it like this. It's essentially the ongoing decision of when to spend your gold aggressively to maintain a win streak, protect your health pool, and force your opponents onto the defensive, versus, when to play low tempo, hoard your gold, take a few short-term losses to maximize your interest, and aim for that massive power spike later in the match. Now, to actually control the pace of the lobby, you have to manipulate the four mechanical pillars of tempo. First up, roster power. This is governed by your strategic evolution spikes and high-value unique or legendary unit picks. Second, we have item synergy, which is all about efficiently distributing carry items for maximum output. Third is synergy timing, meaning you're activating key type thresholds before the rest of the lobby even gets there. And finally, level spacing. This is where you spend gold aggressively on experience to outlevel your opponents, giving you a pure numbers and rarity advantage. And the thing is, these four pillars don't exist in a vacuum, right? They constantly interact to dictate the momentum on the board. You're rarely going to pull ahead by focusing on just one of them. A true high-rank player weaves these elements together. Because honestly, hitting a synergy threshold just a single turn before your opponents, or completing an item set exactly when an evolution spikes, that creates a tempo shift that can completely swing a round's momentum in your favor.
Moving on to Section 2, Early Game Tempo. Let's take these core concepts and break down exactly how you apply them strategically in rounds 1 through 10.
Let's look at your standard openings. The baseline low-tempo approach is just aiming to reach that 50 gold interest cap before the Gyarados stage. You completely avoid spending gold on experience or rerolls. But the data is crystal clear here. Early game tempo depends heavily on evolutions. Why? Because evolved common units statistically outperform unevolved common and uncommon units. So while hoarding gold is the baseline, if you're sitting there holding multiple pairs, rolling before the first PvP duel is a highly effective high-tempo shift. Conversely, rolling when you only hold a single pair, that is a low-probability, high-risk play that you really want to avoid. To really capitalize on that early aggression, you're going to want to utilize poison, bug, or normal synergies. Statistically, they just offer the strongest early game tempo curves. You want to pair this up by equipping melee units that have area of effect abilities. Those are your absolute most efficient early carries. You optimize them with bruiser items, basically mixing offense and defense.
All right, Section 3, Mid-Game Tempo. As we hit rounds 11 through 20, the stakes really start to escalate, and health point drops become significantly more punishing. The baseline transition requires hitting level 7 during the Stage 1-5 PvE round against Mew and Mewtwo. Following that, you need to push to level 8 precisely at Stage 2-0. That coincides perfectly with the legendary pick. Managing your economy to hit these exact markers is what prevents you from falling behind the lobby's natural power curve.
During this phase, your entire tempo revolves around your Stage 10 unique pick. You essentially need a high-tier unique unit to solo carry your composition, provided you support it with strictly optimized items, of course. If you manage to secure a strong unique carry, your win streak probability jumps up, which entirely justifies a gold investment into leveling or hunting down further evolutions. You use this raw power to dictate the speed of the lobby. Now here is the crucial point. You have to avoid the most common psychological trap in auto chess. Players will so often hold on to 50 gold while their board strength just completely stagnates, totally missing the shift in the lobby's pace. If you miss a top-tier unique choice and the rest of the lobby is playing high tempo, just sitting on your economy is going to cause rapid health loss. Holding gold while dropping below critical health thresholds is statistically a losing play. Sacrificing a portion of your economy to level a role is absolutely mandatory to stabilize and secure a top 4 finish. Seriously, do not bleed out with a full bank account.
Section 4, Late Game Tempo. From round 21 onwards, the narrative shifts entirely to urgency. Long-term economy? That is completely abandoned. Raw power is literally the only metric that matters now.
Tempo here is dictated entirely by your remaining health pool. If you're 1 or 2 losses away from elimination, you need to execute this exact survival checklist immediately.
First, acknowledge your HP limits. Second, push maximum tempo and completely disregard your interest boundaries. And third, roll down aggressively for late-game evolutions, particularly for your Ultra Pokémon. You literally cannot afford to lose another round, so every single piece of gold must be converted into immediate board strength.
And here's a really critical strategic observation. Pushing to level 9 is rarely the correct defensive play, unless your health pool is actually stable enough to absorb 1 or 2 losses during that transition. Remember, your primary carry should already be secured at level 8, so you should only spend the massive amount of gold required to level up to 9 if it mathematically activates a critical game-winning synergy. Examples of this would be hitting a maximum threshold, or maybe activating a crucial utility synergy like Amorphous 5. Otherwise, just roll your gold for upgrades at level 8.
Finally, Section 5, our key takeaways. Let's consolidate this whole framework into a few actionable rules you can take directly into your next match.
By systemizing these decisions, tempo goes from an abstract idea to a concrete winning formula. Just remember your baseline rules. Roll before the first PvP only if you hold multiple pairs. Exploit those AoE melee units with bruiser items in poison, bug, or normal comps early on. Never fall into the trap of hoarding gold when your HP drops to critical levels. And lastly, when elimination is imminent, sacrifice your economy entirely for those late-game Ultra evolutions.
Understanding tempo is really what transitions you from relying on pure luck to actively controlling the board. So now that you have the objective blueprint, how are you going to adapt this framework to your own gameplay? Next time you find yourself sitting comfortably on 50 gold, ask yourself, are you playing the lobby or is the lobby playing you? Take these strategies into your ranked grind and become the consistent dominator you're meant to be. Catch you next time.